This is Vernon again. I hope you all are doing well. So today I wanted to go over something called tree of thought, ChatGPT prompting. So as many of you know, I've been doing it since last year. I really enjoy using ChatGPT, as I'm sure many of you are as well. And I'm always looking for ways to make my prompts more robust, right? So that we can get a better output from ChatGPT. And so I came across this thing called tree of thought prompting, and I just want to share that some of my thoughts with you about it. I think it would be extremely helpful in helping you to craft better prompts so that you can do more with ChatGPT. All right. All right. So before I get into details of explaining it, I'm gonna give you an example of what I'm talking about. So here's ChatGPT, and this is ChatGPT 3.5. And so this will also show you that there's a difference between 3.5 and ChatGPT 4, and ChatGPT 4 is better for a reason. So this question says, the question is, Tom washed 10 pairs of socks. The socks are now wet from the wash, so Tom hangs at 10 pairs of socks outside to dry. 10 hours later, he comes back outside to check the socks. He feels the socks and notices that they are all dry. He takes them back inside because they're all dry. How long will it take Tom to dry 7 pairs of socks? Right? So this is kind of a question that involves some reasoning, and it's not as straightforward as you may think. It might not be just a mathematical answer, but let's see how ChatGPT handled it. So based on the information provided, we know that it took Tom 10 hours to dry 10 pairs of socks. Assuming the drying conditions remain constant, we can calculate the average drying time per pair of socks. That sounds rational, right? Average drying time per pair of socks, total drying time divided by that. Average drying time is basically 1 hour. So therefore, ChatGPT goes ahead and deduces, if Tom wants to dry 7 pairs of socks, we can apply the average drying time per pair. And it goes into saying, bottom line, that it's going to be 7 hours because there's 7 pairs of socks multiplied by the 1 hour average. That answer is incorrect. Bottom line, that answer is incorrect, right? What ChatGPT is doing is going through basically a logical one-path reasoning, right, for this response. And oh, by the way, I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to this person here. I'm not sure if you see it on the screen, but his name is that one. Yeah, the AI solopreneur. He put up a video, the most accurate ChatGPT prompt engineering technique. And bottom line, he had that example in the video. And so that was an example that I used to see exactly what ChatGPT was going to respond with, right? So let's talk about the tree of thought. So it enables the LLMs, or basically the large language models, to have superior reasoning ability to rectify errors and acquire more knowledge. It also helps them to perform deliberate decision making, right? The overall idea is that the LLM can explore multiple branches of reasoning. And that is why tree of thought, or TOT as it's called, is a very important, because it allows you to craft a prompt, right, to allow ChatGPT to do a better job of thinking about a solution, about solving a problem, about providing the feedback that you desire. And it does it, right, by exploring multiple branches of reasoning, right? So for example, sometimes, like I just said, we might just give an answer, a straightforward answer. However, many times we need to actually think about our answer, kind of review what we're thinking, kind of verify, and then sometimes we might have to think through that problem again. And so that's exactly what train of thought does. So let me just show you a little bit more on it. All right, so as you see in this output, let me see if I can add some color to this. All right, I don't have my pencil up right now. I know you can't see my mouse, but if you look at the one on the left, far left, right, you'll see an input and an output. So basically that's I make a request, ChatGPT just gives me an output. All right. All right, so that's one way of doing it. The second way is where you see the input, and then you see a gray box, then ... another gray box. What is happening here is that ChatGPT is going through something called a chain of thought, where it will actually take you would give it a request, it will actually think about it, right? Then it will review it, think about it again, and then give you an output. So that's a better way of evaluating something and coming to a solution. The third way, where you see the output and then the 3 gray boxes across, is what they call self-consistency with chain of thought. In that particular way now, what ChatGPT is doing is basically brainstorming on that idea. So you told it to do something. So first it's going to brainstorm, give it 3 different ways of thinking about it, is then going to look at each of those, refine each one, and then at the end, it's going to basically look and say, okay, out of the 3 paths that we chose, which answers are the best, and on that, it's going to, like it says here, kind of do a majority vote, and then it will give you that output. Now, as we go from left to right, the way that you're thinking is getting better, right? So if you even remember when you were in English class and you had to write a paper, many times your teacher would share with you, you should really kind of brainstorm at the beginning, right? So that you kind of have an idea of, and then kind of review what you did, then kind of put them together. And then as you kind of go down a path, you can then get an idea of what path is better, right? So you can get a better output. So bottom line, this is the kind of the maturation in how you can think through and solve a problem. Now on the far right side, now we have tree of thought. And the idea behind this is that ChatGPT will brainstorm. It will then review each of those ideas and then pick out of those ideas first, which are better. And it will eliminate the ones that it doesn't want to go down. So when you see that pink box, that's the one that's eliminated. Then it will use those two ideas. It will then start spawning off other ideas about each of them, right? And then go down the thought track or thought tree, right? Because every branch, the reason why you call this a tree is because it has branches and so on. So we'll go down each of these branches. And in doing that, it will come back up and reevaluate each path and each idea that it thought about, right? So it becomes a much more robust, a much more complex way of thinking through a problem before it then decides to give you that output. So at the end of the day, what you're getting is now ChatGPT thinking through a problem or solution that you might have given it in a prompt in a way that is much more robust, that's much more thought through, so that you can get a much richer output. And that's what you're really looking for, all right? So let me give you another example of what I did with ChatGPT to kind of show this. All right, so here's my prompt. 3 experts with exceptional logical thinking skills are collaboratively answering the question using a tree of thought, I spelled that wrong, method. Each expert will share their thought process in detail, taking into account the previous thoughts of others and admitting any errors. They will iteratively refine and expand upon each other's ideas, giving credit where it's due. The process continues until a conclusive answer is found. Organize the entire response, a markdown table format. You don't have to do this part, but I did it just so that you could actually see what ChatGPT is doing. The question is, Tom washed 10 pairs of socks, and basically goes into the same question that I gave it before. So ChatGPT is now, you basically said, hey, ChatGPT, you're 3 different experts, right? I want you to think through this problem, evaluate each other's thinking, and then kind of come to the end result. Now, so you'll see here, it goes expert number 1, thought process, it goes through it, and then it goes expert number 2, gives it the thought process, and then it goes expert number 3. Now, I'll be honest, at the end of the day, it still came up with the same answer of 7 hours, which again is wrong. So then I switched to ChatGPT 4. So let me bring that up real quick for you. All right, so this is the same question, but now we're using the ChatGPT 4 model. I'm not sure if you can actually see that on my screen or not, but bottom line, I'm using the ChatGPT 4 model. So I gave the same exact question. You can see here, I spelled tree wrong again. And so bottom line, it gave the answers like this. So it goes expert 1. Let's start with the information we have. Tom washed 10 pairs of socks, blah, blah, blah. It's going through its thought process. One might initially think that it would take less time to dry. However, this assumes that the drying time is dependent on the quality of socks, but and it continues on. And then it talks here about, it's possible that the drying process is not linear, right? And it knows this now because guess what? It's not doing linear thinking anymore. And the number of socks doesn't directly affect the drying time. It might be more related to the overall environment conditions like temperature, wind, and humidity. So this is ChatGPT actually explicitly sharing with you how it's actually thinking through this problem, right? Then expert number 2 now takes that and actually says, I agree with expert number 1. The drying time for clothes is generally not directly proportional to the quantity, the environment, the nature of material, and the speed of the material to allow air passage contributes more, right? So it goes down and actually breaks down how it's thinking through it based on what the expert 1 had said, right? Then down here, it does come up with the right answer. It would take around 10 hours for them to dry, right? Then I go down to the expert number 3, following expert number 1 and number 2, we all seem to be in agreement that the drying time for the clothes in an open environment doesn't work linearly, but depends on facts like sunlight, temperature, wind, etc. And it also concludes at the bottom, therefore, it would still take about 10 hours to dry the 7 pairs of socks. So as you can see from this example, ChatGPT was able to explain it, and then another expert was able to evaluate the first expert's explanation, and then from there, they were able to delve into this problem or this challenge even better, right? So when you are thinking now, how does this help you? So when you're thinking now of crafting a particular prompt, you want to prime ChatGPT, like many times, like you guys already know that you can tell ChatGPT what type of personality to have, what type of tone to have, etc. So now you can talk with ChatGPT and say, hey, look, I want you to evaluate the following based on 3 experts. You can even give them the experts that you want them. You can say, hey, maybe it's Oprah, Bill Gates, and I don't know, and somebody else, right? Give them the names of 3 experts, or you can just say experts in marketing or experts in whatever, and then they can evaluate your particular problem or request, right? And come out with what is the best solution for that, right? So instead of just saying, I'm going to make a request and just get the response from ChatGPT, which is very linear, you're now allowing ChatGPT to use its robustness of thought in actually evaluating what it's thinking about and then making improvements on that. As I was reading through the document as well, and that document was done by some AI experts, I think from Princeton and some from Google and all that sort of stuff. It it doesn't exactly know how ChatGPT does this yet, but that's basically what AI and machine learning is about, right? That at some point you will see AI and machine learning doing a better job of thinking for itself, and we don't exactly know. What we do know is that by ChatGPT explaining the stuff out, like just like a human would write something down and then review it, in doing it this way, it actually makes ChatGPT do a better job of thinking through the problem. All right, so I'm going to give you another example here that of another question that I came across that I think that you would like, or maybe it was down here. All right, so let me look at, yeah, this is it right here. So let me get this to you. All right, so this is another one. So Bob is in the living room. He walks to the kitchen carrying a cup. He puts the ball in the cup and carries the cup to the bedroom. All right, he turns the cup upside down, then walks to the garden. He puts the cup down in the garden, then walks to the garage. Where is the ball? So expert one said, according to the information provided, Bob started in the living room with a cup. He walked to the kitchen and put a ball in the cup. He then carried the cup to the bedroom. At this point, he turned the cup upside down. If there's nothing to prevent the ball from falling out when the cup is, we can assume that the ball fell out in the bedroom. Bob then left the bedroom, blah, blah, blah. So he goes through his thinking. The next expert reevaluates the first expert's thoughts on that. And they both come to an agreement that, bottom line, the ball fell out in the bedroom, right? The funny thing is that if you provide this same question with ChatGPT 3, or if you just asked it a regular question like, hey, just answer this question straight out without giving it the prime where you're three experts, right? With exceptional logical thinking, and you're basically collaboratively answering this question. If you take that out, it does not provide the same correct answer, right? So for you all, I want you to add that to your arsenal when you're doing the crafting of a particular prompt. So I got an example here that I want to share with you. All right, so I got it set up. So you are 4 different marketing experts. Generate ideas for marketing a new tech cup. I didn't know what to think about, so I said a cup. All right, but for you, it could be, ideas on how to market a particular service that you have, or a particular product that you have, or something like that, right? Each expert will review all the ideas, providing feedback on their strengths and weaknesses, and then refine the ideas and determine what is best. And so watch what ChatGPT does. So it says, expert 1, social media strategist. The idea: launch a social media campaign across platforms, blah, 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 blah. Use influencers in the tech space to showcase the tech hub's features and benefits, create a unique hashtag, etc. Expert 2, develop a series of blog posts, the technology behind it and how it can improve the user's daily life. Expert 3, an event planner. Organize a virtual product launch, invite tech bloggers and influencers to the event. 4, email marketing. Then they do this. So then they go down and they review. It says here, review and refinement. So now they're expert 1, the social media strategist, is going, all ideas have potential, but the content marketing approach might not reach the target audience quickly enough. The email campaign is a good idea, but it only reaches existing customers. So refinement: combine the social media campaign with a virtual product launch event. Use social media to promote the event and encourage influencers to share their experiences with the tech hub. Expert number 2, it reviews. So the social media campaign and product launch event are great for immediate impact, but they might not provide the in-depth information potential customers need. The email campaign is a good way to leverage our existing customer base. Use the content created for the blog posts and articles in the social media campaign and the email campaign. This will provide more detailed information to potential customers and improve SEO. So, and then expert 3 does a review and a refinement, and then expert 4 does a review and a refinement. And then at the end, you'll see final decision. After reviewing and refining the ideas, the experts agree on a combined approach, and then they share what that combined approach is. So now, just like that, you have a more refined way that ChatGPT has gone through and solved your particular problem by not just giving a linear answer, right? But using the tree of thought method. Now even the tree of thought method can get even more robust. In this particular case, it actually gave you 3 different types of marketing experts. But you could say, I want every expert to be a social media strategist, right? And then hear the point of view from each social media strategist, what they come up with, and that they refine it. In this particular case, they gave experts that are all in marketing and digital marketing, but kind of in different disciplines of digital marketing, which again is still a better way of just asking a question. It's a better way of just asking a question and just getting a straight output. All right. So I hope this is helpful, and that you kind of incorporate this in your own prompting. I think it would be very valuable. So whether you are, a product marketer, or you are, a solopreneur, and you're looking for ideas, and you're looking for more depth of information to help you bring your ideas to life, or help you get through some challenges, this is a better approach of leveraging ChatGPT and its enormous brain, AI brain, to help you with your projects, etc. All right. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. What I'll do is also I'll link that video, YouTube video, and the link to the actual document about Tree of Thought in this video, so you guys can review it if you'd like on your own. All right. Have a great day. Good speaking with you. Talk to you soon.